Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a new video. Today we're going to be talking about the Second Council of Lyon in 1274. So what is this council, the Second Council of Lyon, and why does it matter today? So by the mid-1200s, the church faced three existential crises. The first crisis was the East and West Schism. So Rome and Constantinople had been split for over 200 years. So unity was broken, authority was contested, and doctrine was disputed. And the crisis number two was papal elections were a huge disaster. Y'all, get this. Popes were sometimes elected months, or even years late because cardinals will be arguing. They'd be like just going back and forth, kings always interfering, and political factions stalled votes. So this left the church leaderless for months or even years, which is dangerous, y'all. And in Crisis 3, y'all, what do you think I'm going to say? It's the circular rulers. Circular rulers meddle constantly, so we had emperors and kings pressure bishops, popes, and councils. I swear, every council has to do something with a king. So greedy. But anyways, Pope Gregory X calls the council to fix all this at once. So, where was this and when? How do you not know where this is at? Y'all, this is in Lyon, which is in France. Hence the name, the Council of Lyon II. I'm just messing with y'all. And the year was in 1274. And the council name was Council of Lyon II. I don't know. I don't know why I'm repeating myself. But the presiding pope at this time was Pope Gregory X. So this is not a minor meeting. This is a full-blown ecumenical council. So who attended to this council? Over 500 bishops. Y'all, we're not playing. We had Latin church leaders, Eastern bishops, and envoys. We had representatives of the Byzantine emperor. This matters because the East did not just get talked about, they were actually present at this council. And the main goal of this council, of course, was unity, but on Rome's terms. Rome's position in this council was crystal clear. We want unity with y'all, but not at the cost of truth. So Rome required a profession of faith. So this profession is where the big doctrines appear. Which ones? Well, Purgatory was finally stated. So this was one of the most important moments in Catholic theology, y'all. So what Lyon II teaches is that souls who die in God's grace but still need purification, and those souls are purified after death. So the prayers, masses, and sacrifices of the church help them, the souls. And why it was included was because it was not random. It was not new. It was included because of the East. Rome said, if you want communion, this is part of the faith. So the doctrine was explicitly stated. And this is a development of doctrine, not an invention. And we also have to talk about the Filioque, which was a no compromise. The council required belief that the Holy Spirit proceeds from the Father and the Son. The Eastern representatives actually accepted this at the council. This really shows Rome's claim of authority to define doctrine, and unity required agreement with Rome. And we see papal authority was assumed and not debated. Unlike earlier councils, Lyon II does not argue for papal primacy. Why? Well, because Rome is calling the council, they're setting the conditions, they're requiring assent. That is papal authority in action, y'all. So why the reunion fell? Well, yes, the East accepted the terms at Lyon. But oh boy, once they returned home, clergy revolted, monks resisted, and people rejected it. And politics crushed it. So here's an important Catholic principle. The truth does not become false because people reject it. This council remains valid even if unity collapses. Now, one of the most important things of this council was papal elections. So the problem before Lyon II was papal elections were in chaos. We have cardinals leaving Rome, kings pressure votes, elections dragged on forever, and this week in the church. So the solution of this was the conclave system. So at Lyon II, Pope Gregory X issued a decree called the Ubium Perpicalium. Yo, I cannot even pronounce it. It's in Latin. But that translates where danger lies. This created the modern papal election system. So what happened? So cardinals were locked in. So cardinals must stay together in one place, no leaving, no outside contact. This is why it's called a conclave. They are literally locked in the room. So they reduce food for pressure. So if there was delays, meals get simpler. What does that mean? Eventually, it gets to the point where it's only bread and water. So this discourages delays and politics. And popes must be elected by 2/3 majority. What does that mean? Well, it means that if there's 30 cardinals, 20 must agree. This ensures unity, legitimacy, and no faction pope. And no circular interference. Finally, man. Oh my goodness. These kings, emperors, oh my goodness, they're annoying. And nobles are cut out. So kings, emperors, and nobles are cut out. This protects church independence, papal authority, and y'all, this is huge. So why does this all matter? Well, this council teaches something special and something deep. The church governs herself under Christ, not under kings. Lyon II strengthens papal authority, church independence, and doctrinal clarity, and institutional stability. Without this council, y'all, papal elections would be a political chaos, unity would be weaker, and secular control would be dominant. Y'all, thank you so much for watching this video. I pray that y'all have a blessed day. Go on and be in peace. God bless y'all.